And this is Avraham Saltoun with one more Flash CS4 tutorial, and today we'll be making the Desert Tornado, and we'll be using ActionScript, a built-in language that comes with Flash CS4 with animation purposes. If you paid attention for the tornado you saw on the opening of the tutorial, we had a pile of rings, one bigger than the other, going small all the way to the bottom, and the rings are shaking and turning unsynchronized. So we're creating the first base ring, which is going to be a symbol that will be reusing it. This symbol will be moving left and right to give the impression, the effect that is going round, and we'll be applying a mask layer also that's going to move to reinforce the effect. Plenty of mask layer tutorials on my website. Welcome to visit. Let's create the mask layer. Same principle. We're going to have a circle that's large, but it's going to move left and right, just revealing parts of the ring to create the effect we desire. Could be any color, because after all, the purpose of the mask layer is to reveal. The color will not show during the animation. Let's add a few. You can always use the wireframe view to adjust the edges so the size or mask layer fits our purposes. And let's add a few keyframes, because this shape is going to move left and right. Right click, ask for create classic twin, not a motion twin. Motion twin will not work over here. It has to be a classic twin, and we'll be moving each one of these keyframes so the mask layer goes left and right and gives the effect that we need for our desert tornado. And let's shake the lower layer as well. I made a mistake, as I told you. Has to be a classic twin for this animation, and we're going to go keyframe by keyframe and just move the ring a bit so it shakes left and right. And it's pretty much for now. Let's add a additional layer that's going to be an ActionScript layer. Let's create the mask layer, and this is going to be ActionScript. Now, for frame 1 and last frame, we're going to add keyframes, because on frame 1 it is going to do such and such act. In this case, it's a very simple formula: go to and play. You can always type that like Notepad, but if you can click, it avoids a lot of mistakes if you forget to put the semicolon. And go to and play a random number, so it starts on each time that you drag and drop the symbol into stage, it starts from a different frame, so they turn round and round but unsynchronized, and that's the beauty of it. It's a very great, a great example for starting ActionScript. Now in the last frame, I'm just going to tell Flash that when you go to the last frame, you don't have to go back to the first frame and get another random number. Just keep on doing what you're doing, because we want to keep our tornado rings unsynchronized. And let's see the result. And taking some time. We have a ring that turns round, has the effect we want. It's going round and round, left and right, looks like it's shaking, and the tornado that we saw on the opening of this tutorial is nothing but a pile of these rings, the desert tornado. Let's create a tornado. Let's insert a new symbol. It's going to be a movie clip. It has layers, contains a a recipient for an animation. Once our tornado is ready, we can drag and drop as many times as we wish, anywhere we want. So let's start by dragging and dropping our rings into this stage of the scene of our movie clip, and pretty much done by creating the desert tornado. Let's test our scene, and there he is. He's turning. Now, small detail is the shadow underneath the tornado. Is cute to add a shadow. The more detail, the more realism. Is a general rule for any animation. The more detail, the more realism. So I'm gonna add this little circle underneath the tornado and convert it into a symbol, because we plan to add a blur effect, and the blur effect will only work if it is a symbol. We have the symbol. Let's go to properties, and the blur effect is hidden all the way down. It's not only me that asks these questions, why Adobe hid the blur effect. So underneath, the thing is, pays the effort. Let's scroll down. Let's get the blur effect. Let's increase the X and Y so we have a strong blur effect, because it's a shadow, not a shape. And we have our shadow, and since the shadow is inside of the recipient movie clip, it's going to follow our tornado wherever we want, wherever it goes. Let's lock the layers, the sun, the clouds, and add a new layer for the tornado. The desert tornado is going to come into the scene. Let's drag and drop. We have the tornado with the shadow underneath, and let's add a few frames. F5 will give you simultaneous frames. And now, instead of moving the tornado around, let's apply one of the cool motion presets that comes with Flash CS4, and we're going to have a result a bit different than the tornado that we saw in the opening of this tutorial. Let's add additional frames to make sure that it follows the sun. Everything else in the background goes all the way up to the end of the timeline together with the tornado, and there we have our desert tornado. You can download every single source file of this tutorial at my website, and you're welcome to send me suggestions, questions, or remarks. And thank you very much for watching my tutorial. Here is the desert tornado.